Natasha owns Smiley Waltz, and a lot more coming out from right, Natasha. A lot more. What's the next one?
We've got America 250 coming out for the anniversary. We've got a Charlie Kirk song, a tribute song coming out.
Great.
So, and who knows? In 6 days, we may chase another headline and have something totally insane. So follow me.
Watch the 4 o'clock show. We tend to come up with some good ideas for your songs. Yeah. Ma'am, is your CK for Charlie Kirk? Awesome. Oh, Charlie Kirk here. Thank you for doing that for Charlie as well. That's awesome. Natasha Owens, folks, that's going to be it for us from CPAC this time. I'm going to stick around with War Room. Oh, Maureen Bannon's right over there. We're going to stick around at War Room for a little bit, and then we will see you back from West Palm Beach on Monday, CPAC 2026. Stay right here. War Room coming up. Bannon, War Room in the house.
Country really gave me everything. That's facts, no debate. School books, opportunities, and before.
Back in the Middle East, the New York Times reports that, quote, Iran said on Friday that it had warned 3 ships not to pass through the Strait of Hormuz, a day after Mr. Trump extended a U.S. deadline for Tehran to reopen the waterway. And as much as Donald Trump has been talking about striking a peace deal, and as reporting suggests he wants to end the war, Department of Defense officials tell the Wall Street Journal that, quote, the Pentagon is looking at sending up to 10,000 additional ground troops to the Middle East to give the president more military options. The force, which would likely include infantry and armored vehicles, would be added to the roughly 5,000 Marines and the thousands of paratroopers from the 82nd Airborne Division who have already been ordered to the region. It is unclear where precisely forces will go in the Middle East, but they will likely be within striking distance of Iran and Karg Island, a crucial oil export hub off Iran's coast. Mixed messages from the Trump administration as the war rages on. Why would he send them if he did not plan to use them?
So that's a more credible force for some types of operation, seizing Karg Island, for example, maybe doing some raids or some smaller operations in the vicinity of the strait itself. It's not a force that's going to invade Iran and try to overrun the country. You'd have to have a force several times, at least bigger than that, to do that. So it does increase the options the administration has, but they're not very good options. Iran is fighting an asymmetric fight. The cyber attack you just talked about is a piece of that. The closing of those Straits of Hormuz, which I don't think this force can fundamentally reverse, is another part of it. So we're in a type of conflict that, for reasons that mystify me, the administration did not anticipate, did not prepare for, and did not think through the consequences of. So that's where we are.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio told reporters a short time ago that he was expecting Iran's response to a U.S. peace proposal at any moment. The Trump administration has offered Tehran a 15-point plan to end the war, and this comes as the two sides could potentially begin face-to-face negotiations in the near future. At the same time, the U.S. is sending thousands of troops to the Middle East, though Secretary Rubio says that Iranian military capabilities can be destroyed without putting any American troops on the ground. Listen.
We are achieving all those objectives. We are ahead of schedule on most of them, and we can achieve them without any ground troops, without any. Now, in terms of why there's deployments, number one, the president has to be prepared for multiple contingencies, which I'm not going to discuss in the media. And again, I refer you to the Department of War, who will probably tell you the exact same thing. But we can achieve all of our objectives without ground troops, but we are always going to be prepared to give the president maximum optionality and maximum opportunity to adjust to contingencies should they emerge.
This is the primal scream of a dying regime. Pray for our enemies, because we're going medieval on these people. You're just not got a free shot on all these networks lying about the people. The people have had a belly full of it. I know you don't like hearing that. I know you try to do everything in the world to stop that, but you're not going to stop it. It's going to happen.
And where do people like that go to share the big lie? MAGA media. I wish in my soul, I wish that any of these people had a conscience.
Ask yourself, what is my task and what is my purpose? If that answer is to save my country, this country will be saved.
War Room. Here's your host, Stephen K. Bannon.
All right, we're back. War Room. Folks, Come on out. Friday, CPAC 2026. War Room's got it going on. Rav's got it going on. Real America's Music's got it going on. All right. Let's start with, Ben Berkman, everybody. Ben's awesome on the border. Where's your sign?
Hey, we got to remember what we're fighting against as these lunatic leftists are out there marching against America, marching against ICE. We say here at CPAC and across America, MAGA says, God bless.
Oh, there you go. Maureen Bannon, awesome to share a stage with you again. Always good.
Thank you. Same.
And you brought Tage Gill.
Tage Gill, yeah.
You're a badass, I hear. I hear you spent some time deploying.
I did, yeah. I've been Iraq and Afghanistan 16 times between 2001 and 2014.
Wow.
And now I sell coffee.
Warpath Coffee.
Yeah, Warpath Coffee.
It's good coffee, right? Maureen called me about
the best
Warpath.
coffee. It's a champagne of coffee.
So let me start with you, my friend. You see what's going on in Iran right now.
Mm-hmm.
Tough position to be in for President Trump, right? It was let's obliterate the nuclear program. We did. They did. Israel and us did. But what has the mission changed? And if it has, what's the end goal? What are we trying to accomplish there? And how do we do it?
I think definitely it's a very tough, very dangerous situation we're in right now. And the end goal, it seems to be changing, but regime change, denuclearization, maybe de-weaponization. And then, it looks like Israel and America have a little bit different goals. So fight together, but different.
I'm trying to figure that one out. Scratch my head a little bit.
Yeah, see, today Israel bombed all of Iran's steel production facilities. So now Iran's going to attack the Gulf steel production facilities. And Trump said we're not going to attack them for the next 6 days.
So you deployed. Can we eradicate the mullah system, the IRGC, without boots on the ground? Is that possible?
I don't think so. Yeah.
And if we do go that route, what's the timeline now? That doesn't happen very quickly either, does it?
No. Look what happened in Iraq and Afghanistan. Afghanistan, we went in 2001 to take the Taliban out, and we left in 2020, and the Taliban is still there. So
we let him back in.
Right.
And we gave him $80 billion in assets.
And we also withdrew out of Iraq in 2011, technically as part of the withdrawal out of Iraq. And we have service members back in Iraq right now. And we saw that we sent the 82nd Airborne. They were told to be on standby and ready to go. But then we saw that their headquarters is about to be deployed as well. So it's an escalation of force.
No matter what you end up doing, it's good to at least show the enemy that you're ready to go. Even if you decide not to do it, you got to portray like, hey, unless you negotiate, we're gonna rain hell down on you. About right. What about it, Ben?
Look, I look at this. I think we're kind of asking the wrong question. Islam has been a threat ever since Muhammad was on the earth. I don't see that changing. And so to me, people ask, is this a forever war? Are we going to be in there 20 years or 30 years? It is a forever war. This is the battle we're up against. And it's the reason why Islam kills more Islam than it does anybody else. It's the reason why all of these nations, 50 plus nations that are all governed by Islamic law, continually are fighting each other. And until we get rid of that, I don't see this changing in a positive direction. Now, hopefully we can come up with some solutions in the interim. We can get somebody in there. I don't think socialists are the answer either. So who do you put in place? You ask the question, when do you negotiate with terrorists? And do you ever trust them when you do? I don't. And so we're in a tough spot. I mean, I'm not an expert on this. These guys are. I just see this as a fight that we have to fight. Iran was the existential threat to the Middle East for decades. They were the state sponsor of terror around the world. So I would much rather kill them there than have them come to us. But we have those same terrorists in America.
Now, you have some young kids.
Yeah.
Would you be willing to send your kids there to fight for what you just said?
It's a great question. I mean, it's a great question. I'm not saying that, and I've got daughters. I think war fighting is not to take anything away from Maureen. I think war fighting is a man's game. I would go. Look, as a husband and a father, I'll die in a second for my family.
Right.
I'm not necessarily sending my daughters to die on my behalf.
That's the issue. And me wrong. I want to eradicate Iran. I want to eradicate the threat. But I know that if we do, there's another whack-a-mole. They're just going to replace him with another radical Islamist behind him. To think that democracy will thrive in Iran, do you believe that?
Maybe. I mean, Trump doesn't like these forever wars, supposedly. The way he went into Venezuela, he knocked them out quick. And I think that's what his intention was when this, but I think at some point you lose control and it starts dragging on and dragging on. But yeah, I mean, if he can knock them out quick and do a regime change and put somebody reasonable in there, it'd be a good outcome.
Be behind the sky, though, right? But knock them out quick and change the regime change without boots on the roof. That's
it's tough. I mean, the whole thing is tough.
A plan and victory, and then an exit ramp to get off is what we need in order, because you have to be able to tell these parents that send their sons and daughters off to war, if your child is killed, it was for this reason. When they come off the aircraft at Dover Air Force Base in a transfer case for a dignified transfer, you have to be able to look at those parents and say, this is why your child gave their life for this country. So we need to be able to do that for any service member that is over in Iran right now.
And the bigger thing I look at is, does America even have the stomach for it? You know, we lost Vietnam, not because we couldn't win Vietnam, but because we lost the heart to fight it. And you look at now, we're 2 weeks into this thing.
Vietnam's this big. It's like a dot in the map, and we spent 50,000 lives there.
And now we're 2 weeks into this thing, and people are already like, I don't have the stomach for this. It's a tough place to be.
So Steve does this. I was on here yesterday when Steve did this. Guys, are you here? Crowd, are you ready? We need a voice vote. We need you loud, all right? Who's in favor of the first option, completely eradicating the mullahs and the IRGC, even if it means our kids have to go to war on the ground in Iran? Who's in favor of that? Here, by voice, by voice. All right, here's an alternative. Would you be okay? Who's in favor of this plan? We go there, we bomb the hell out of them. We knock them, we hit them in infrastructure, we hit them in manufacturing, steel, communications, we take them out. We get them to the table and we say, look, you're going to stay in power, you Islamic nut jobs. Kill each other. We don't care. We're going to do a deal with you to take your oil, and we get the oil first. We'll give you a fair price for it. No Americans die. But we don't change the regime. Who's in favor of that idea? Why? Tell me why. He's a gentleman yelling.
Let me go get the mic. Let me go get the mic. Can we get this guy on camera?
That is a big for United States of America. When Iranian regime, Islamic Republic, they ship all their missiles to Venezuela, it was their plan that they're going to attack here, United States of America. You are an ignorant. You are 100% an ignorant. That you don't understand that.
What's the solution?
You're right.
The solution it is because that Islamic.
Sir, do you have children?
Yes, sir. I have two.
You would be okay sending your children to
Yes,
fight this
I would
war?
go by myself.
No.
I would go there.
So would I. I'm talking about our children and our children's children. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Absolutely. Absolutely, I will send my kids.
All right, anyone else? Who else would send their children to war with Iran?
First.
Can't hear you. Let me hear you. Sir, no offense. You're the only guy here who said they would.
Who's going to send?
Yes, and I think he's right. But the point here is that I am also Iranian American, and I appreciate that President Trump and the other Americans who are not Iranian are supporting this war against Iranian regime. The problem is that this regime is not getting weaker if you leave him alone. 5 years ago, their missiles was a lot more limited range. It is getting more advanced, and more advanced.
All right.
And that is not the North Korea you are talking about. North Korea,
if we want to replace all the regimes that have nuclear weapons that frankly hate us, we're talking North Korea, maybe even Pakistan. Are we going to go ahead and do regime changes in all these countries? And folks, are we willing to send our kids to war, to go to war, to change? Somehow thinking we wouldn't get another Kim Jong III. So, what are your thoughts on that, Tej?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we can go around the world and knock out every evil regime, right? Like you're saying, we're gonna have to take out Pakistan, North Korea, and whoever else you put on the list. We have bombed the hell out of them for the last 4 weeks, and should we call it good and leave now?
No, bomb them more.
Or do we
get them
finish?
to their knees. Get them to their knees. Bomb every infrastructure they've got. Take their roads out. Sorry, civilian. Take their roads out. Take their manufacturing out. Take their communication ability out. And then get them to the table and lock them into a deal that they can't ever back out of.
100%. That's the plan, but that's the plan. I think that's what we're going after, right? Bomb them into submission. Get them to basically sign their life away and say no more wars.
The regime
but if they don't submit,
then they go away.
Yeah,
then
that's the question.
Maureen, a final thought before we go to break.
Well, I agree with Tage 100%.
You agree? All right, everyone else, yes, sir. Oh, yeah, okay, we got a break here. Okay, folks, we're gonna get to you guys. We have a lot more questions for you. We'll get back in 2.5 minutes. We'll be right back.
It's surely too hard to say. What about when you took your shot at the one you call king? Where is this song for justice?
The world doesn't slow down because you're tired. And weakness gets exposed. That's why the best take Go Pills. Born for military performance, built for high-pressure days when your brain has to move faster than the chaos. This is neurotransmitter support, helping your mind fire clean signals so you can process data fast, decide fast, and stay locked in when it matters. Packed with clinically supported ingredients designed to boost cognitive performance so you stay sharp under pressure. The most badass military in the world uses this kind of energy every day. Now you can too. From training to eliminate America's enemies to smoke-checking terrorists, Go Pills keep the mission fueled. Real world tested by high-level tactical communities. Now available to you. Greenlight the beast inside. Pop a Go Pill. Scan the QR code or go to buygopills.com and receive 15% off your entire order.
Hi, my name is Tracy L. from Arizona. I don't stink around in the kitchen when it comes to the news. I watch Real America's Voice, which always serves accurate and reliable updates that are on point with their amazing hosts. So don't find yourself in a pickle by tuning into the fake news. Stick with Real America's Voice.
This is Rashad from Boston, Massachusetts, and I love Real America's Voice. It is the best place for real news and content. Much love.
Hello, this is Hockey Nut from Weyerhaeuser, Wisconsin. Just saying, tune in to Real America's Voice for the truth.
Howdy, Rab fans. This is Warbringer here. Love you all. Rab is the only place to get the truth, and this is the only way we're going to be able to restore our republic. Love you all. See you in the chat.
Here's your host, Stephen K. Bannon.
All right, well, maybe not Stephen K. Bannon, maybe Eric T. Bowling. And let's bring it back. Maureen, you brought a friend up here, Taryn Feist. I'm sorry, Taryn Feist. You have a little experience in Oregon.
Yeah, so I was actually in Oregon probably a little over a month ago, and I was speaking on behalf of Turning Point and Operation 1776, and they wanted to, the protesters, Antifa outside, wanted to burn and bomb the building because a Bannon was speaking. They didn't care less that there were 700 innocent bodies inside that building. They wanted to hurt and harm people that had a differing point of view. And it's time for a Democrat to be out of office and a Republican to be in office in Oregon. And my friend Taryn is actually moderating a gubernatorial debate here next week.
Yeah, it's actually April 2nd in Salem, Oregon. We have several of our candidates that are going to be appearing there. We also have Lindsey Graham, who is the Patriot Barbie. I'm sure everybody knows who
the female, the
good one.
Good Lindsey Graham.
The female version. So we have the Patriot Barbie coming. She's going to be opening, doing a great, entertaining speech. This debate's going to be like, it's not going to be a normal GOP debate. It's going to be entertaining. It's going to be fun, high energy. We're just really excited about it.
And this primary happens in May?
Yes, our primary for governor is May 19th, and it is so important. One of the things we're really trying to get Oregonians to do right now is change their registration status to Republican so they can vote in our primary. Because if you're not registered as a Republican, there's a lot of people that are NAVs and independents in Oregon.
Are they playing the game in Oregon, too, where Democrats will register as Republicans so they can sway the GOP vote?
I don't think that's really an issue that we deal with. It's just our biggest voting block is those NAVs and independents. So we're just trying to get people over to the Republican Party so they can help us choose our candidate going into November.
All right, that's cool. That's cool. All right, Ben, you have some more customers for us out there.
Yep. All right. So what's your take on that? You're on the other side. What's your take?
My take is from all of you experts. I want to hear more about the people of Iran. They are the majority, and they are in favor of what Trump is doing. And why don't we hear more about how we can help them? I've heard that Bibi will let Bibi get his people in there to wipe out everybody and help them. I don't know if the boots on the ground from Trump could help them, but the bottom line is not some other creep to take over the country of Iran, but to support the people and help them because they're the ones that want the freedom.
Right. Where are they, folks? Remember in November, there was a big uprising, which really cost, I don't know, maybe 10, 15, 20,000 lives. Where are the Iranian people? Let me ask, They're
waiting.
Well, hold on, just give me 1 second. Where are the Iranian people? They were all for this before we got involved. Where are they now? And where are the other Arab countries?
The other Arab countries are trying not to get involved, but they're involved. Iran is bombing all the U.S. bases in the other Arab countries, and the Iranians that have risen up a couple months ago, who knows how many of the Supreme regime has killed. So the people now are intimidated to rise back up because they know they will get killed by the Islamic regime of Iran.
But it's going to take the people of Iran. We can't do it alone, folks. I hate to say it. It can't be just Israel in the United States. The people have to uprise. They have 90 million people. The IRGC can't fight back.
No, we need the Arab countries in the Gulf. We need their boots on the ground. We need Israel's boots on the ground.
That's the best answer I've heard. How about Arab countries' kids on the boots on the ground in Iran and the Iranian people, and we keep bombing them from the top until they submit? Is that the best idea so far? Sir, where's my hater? Where's the guy who hates me?
I think he left.
I've got some locals from Iran. If you want, okay.
There you go.
Ma'am.
There you go.
Mo, let's get this camera down here.
Firstly, to answer your question, where are the people? They have been, first of all, 80,000 were slaughtered. But beyond that, there's 90 more million to come out on the streets. They're waiting for the CENTCOM general to tell them when. In the last briefing, he said, wait for us to signal you to come out. Stay in your homes now. But we will signal you to come out when the time is right. That's the answer to your question, sir. We are ready and willing. I'm ready and willing to go back. I'm a proud American, and I'm a proud Iranian at the same time. I love this country.
So may I ask you, there were two uprisings within the last six months or so. There was one in November and one in January, the Iranian people, where a lot of people got killed, slaughtered, murdered.
A lot?
Right?
What do you call by a lot? 80,000?
Okay, yes.
80,000?
Yes, it's a lot.
Young. They just...
Let him get to the question.
Here's my point. If they were willing to do it twice, knowing that they could have been killed in 80,000, if you say, were killed, where are they now? This is the moment. Right now is the moment.
homes.
Get out of your homes. Get out there and help us.
Oh my God.
Whether you sit back and wait for the United States. Are we the policemen for the whole freaking world? Is that what this is? Come on. Come on. They need to get out of their homes. Go protest again. They'll have air support.
They're not supposed to come out now. They were strictly told to stay in their homes until the regime has been wiped out, root and branch. This is a death cult. They rape the women and they're prisoners. They kill
Maury, are you buying the story that the Iranian people have been told to stay in their homes and aren't supporting the United States?
My story. Go back to the
I think they are, but I think it's time. You know, we shouldn't. I don't want to get in another forever war. I do not want this to be Afghanistan 2.0. I don't want current military to be over there and thousands upon thousands of service members lose their lives again. So it's about time. We need a plan, like I said, for victory and to exit ramp out of this.
Storm the gate. 91 million people. IRGC's what, a million? A million? You win. They got guns. You have volume, right?
In theory, yes, but I don't see it happening. And I don't believe that they've been told to hide out in their homes. Trump has said, "This is your time. Rise up." I don't think they're outgunned. The Iranian people, the civilians, are outgunned by the Iranian military, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps.
They were outgunned the first two times, November and January, right? And can you imagine how much we've softened?
We have
those targets.
Pounded the hell out of Iran. I mean, we have they say we've hit 15,000 targets, and somehow they're still managing to shoot ballistic missiles and drones every night. So how long is this going to go on for? I mean, I have no love for the Islamic regime of Iran, but on the other hand, I don't want to enter into another forever war.
Forever wars.
I mean, we've already crippled them. We have crippled them.
Ben, do you have anyone who has an idea of how long this campaign would take to solve, to mission accomplished, so to speak?
This is war. It's not only a war in the natural, it's a war in the heavenlies. Daniel prayed for 21 days, and the angel was restrained by the dark angel, the prince of Persia. He called on resources to come and help, and the breakthrough came. Now we are warring against the pits of hell in Iran. We have friends from Iran. They all want freedom for their country, for their family, and for themselves.
And so do I.
They're here.
And so do I, but I want them to help us. My point is, I don't think we need to be the police executioner, jailer of the whole world. There's so many countries hate us. Are we going to go wipe out every regime? Let's just let them kill each other. In the meantime, the Iranian people, 91 million people, sir. There's no million army IRGC that could stop 91 million people.
How can we war without being boots on the ground? The weapons of our warfare are not carnal. They are mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds. We need to fight in the spirit realm first before we go anywhere else with boots on the ground.
Got it. More, you want to jump on that?
I mean, I think I've reiterated what we need to do.
Is this going to come up in the GOP debate?
You know, I don't think so, but I do agree with something that he just said, how this fight starts in the spirit realm. I think prayer is where a lot of us need to be starting when we're approaching these issues.
Here's another thing, Eric. Look, in 2001, when 9/11 happened, America rallied, right? Everybody was like, F yeah, America, let's go, right? When we invaded Afghanistan, then went into Iraq. And back then, we had the momentum, we had the people behind us. But right now, it's very divisive because people voted for no wars. Trump ran on no wars, and now here we go. So
you're hitting on something.
A lot of people are pissed off. A lot of people want it, and a lot of people don't. So it's a very polarizing war.
Tage is hitting on something that I've found, being in the media for 20 years. I've never seen this happen before. MAGA is, I don't know if we call it MAGA. It's being divided by original MAGA and new MAGA. Now, I've never seen Megyn Kelly and Tucker Carlson fighting with Mark Levin and Ben Shapiro. Is this about Israel? Who thinks it's about Israel? voice. Israel? Anyone else? No? What's it about? Ben, what's this about?
Okay, so this is the question. What is victory?
All right, well, victory is the complete defeat and destruction of the Islamic regime in Iran and letting the people pick their next leader and who they want. Because it's power to the people.
And how do we do that? Is it boots on the ground or not? American boots on the ground, or can it be done without?
I mean, it could be either or. So, like, if we're going to do American boots on the ground, that's definitely one of the many options we can do. Or there could be, like, Iranian people who truly love their country, who we can train.
How do you arm them?
There should be, like, their own militia or, like, their own force that we can arm and
Ben,
sponsor.
I got to go. We got a heartbreak coming up right now. I'm going to step out. Maureen's going to take over from here. Ben will still be in the crowd. Tage and Taryn will be with you when I come back. Folks, have a great rest of the CPAC Palm Beach.
Thank you for joining us, Eric.
Continues now.
Thanks, Eric.
Oil market staying high at 65. A lot of tensions with Iran. We have 2 aircraft carriers, destroyer groups, and we have a whole lot of aircraft waiting to possibly attack Iran. That may happen. That's why the oil market stays strong.
A short time ago, the United States military began major combat operations in Iran.
So oil immediately jumped $7 a barrel. Some of the threats within the Strait of Hormuz, the big oil shipping channel, also causing oil prices to jump. 20% on a daily basis goes through that little tiny channel. Problem is, Iran in the past has put depth charges. They put bombs under the water.
A U.S.-owned oil tanker targeted in the Strait of Hormuz.
I predict they're going to make some announcements to ease the pressure on the oil market.
My administration announced decisive action to help keep down the oil prices, including offering political risk insurance for tankers. Further action to reduce pressure on oil is imminent.
We're going to be in $4 gasoline territory within a week or so.
Gasoline prices have climbed from $3.11 to $3.54, up 43 cents.
The only smart solution, so we don't get into this predicament again, is the one that we've been talking about, you and I, right here on the show. It's never going to be dependent on another drop of foreign oil ever again, and our oil companies are going to love it the most.
We begin tonight with the president's emergency move to slow the surging gas prices in America. President Trump late today announcing he plans to tap into the strategic petroleum reserves.
It doesn't matter if our tankers or our ships are going to escort tankers through the strait. These guys can go under the water with submarines. No one in their right mind is going to take a crew and 300 members through that strait.
Every day we're monitoring and operating ships through the Straits of Hormuz.
How many?
Probably at least 20 a month altogether.
No, how many now?
Oh, 0.
Right.
At Real America's Voice, we know that you want to be a part of something bigger. That's why we've teamed up with AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens, to build a real community of folks who care about faith and our country's future.
There is no force on earth that can stop us from saving our country.
Want to be a part of this movement? It's easy. Just scan the QR code on your screen right now. That's right. Grab your phone and scan the QR code to join the AMAC and Real America's Voice family today. By scanning the QR code, you'll unlock exclusive content, connect with like-minded Americans, and be first in line for events that celebrate our shared values. So don't wait. Scan the QR code. Join us today and become part of a community that stands for faith, family, and freedom.
Real rights, they come from God.
With AMAC and Real America's Voice. Go ahead. Scan the QR code now.
Howdy, Rat fams.
Here's your host, Stephen K. Bannon.
Well, CPAC 2026, what an event. You know what's amazing about this is the beauty of conservatism. It's competing in the arena of ideas. But we just got word President Trump is speaking. We're going to head there now.
From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea, from Detroit down to Houston and New York to LA, American heart, and it's time we stand and say that I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free, and I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me, and I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free, and I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me, and I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. A lot of rich people in this audience. I'm looking left, right, center, all the way in the back. They're rich too. But I'm thrilled to be back with so many friends and partners, leaders, and innovators here at the Future Investment Initiative. And it's a really great group of people, very smart group of people. They know what's happening in the world. It's my second address to the conference as President of the United States, and it's my honor to be here. Thank you very much. As you know, we're gathered at a moment of bold action and historic decision to make America and our allies safer and stronger, more prosperous, more successful than ever before. That's what's happening. Tonight, we're closer than ever to the rise of the Middle East that is finally free at last from Iranian terror, aggression, and nuclear blackmail. That's what's happened. It was nuclear blackmail for years and years. And beyond that, there was blackmail, period. Under my leadership, America is ending the threat posed by this radical regime, decimating Iran's capabilities with Operation Epic Fury, something that nobody's ever seen anything quite like it. We have the most powerful military in the world by far. I built it in my first term. Remember, I said $1 trillion. They all said, what do you mean $1 trillion? $1 trillion. Every year, another trillion, the next, another trillion. We have the best people. We have by far the best equipment. We have weapons that nobody's ever seen before. We have weapons that nobody even knows about, except for a few of us. For 47 years, Iran has been known as the bully of the Middle East, but they are not the bully any longer. They're on the run. Last June, America's armed forces obliterated Iran's key nuclear facilities in one of the most spectacular military actions of all time. Nobody has ever seen anything like it. In the dead of night, no moon, 1 o'clock in the morning, we went in. It was called Operation Midnight Hammer. And every single one of those bombs hit their mark. Air shafts. They will never build an air shaft again, I promise you that. They went right down that granite mountain through air shafts. Most incredible technology you've ever seen, that a thing like that. And it was decimation, it was obliteration. One of the networks said, well, maybe it wasn't that bad. It was that bad. It turned out to be even more than we thought. But after that attack, the Iranian lunatics refused to cease their pursuit of nuclear weapons. And I have to say, before that, Barack Hussein Obama, did you ever hear of him? Barack Hussein Obama, he had the Iran nuclear deal. He went to Iran. He paid him. Remember, he sent two Boeing 757 jetliners. They took the seats out and they piled it with cash, like 1.7 billion of cash. That's when I realized the president is very powerful. The presidency is a very powerful thing when you can do that. I haven't done that yet. I haven't found a reason to do that yet, but that's big. 1.7 billion in cash. You know, there wasn't a bank in D.C., Virginia, or Maryland that had any money after that disaster. But they sent the cash to Iran. But more importantly, they signed an agreement, the Iran nuclear deal, which if I didn't terminate it in my first term, I terminated it almost immediately. If I didn't terminate it, they would have had a nuclear weapon long ago, and they would have used it on the Middle East, Israel, and the Middle East. And you know the Middle East because when you look at all the missiles that got fired, UAE had 1,500 missiles shot at it. They didn't think they were going to have any. Saudi Arabia didn't expect to have, I mean, we have the most powerful Saudis. Oh, yes, sir, you are so powerful. But yes, sir, you didn't expect any missiles going to Saudi Arabia. They didn't expect them in Qatar. They didn't expect them in Kuwait, in Bahrain. The missiles rained down on you. They were going to hit you with nuclear or whatever they had. But we stopped it. We stopped it. We stopped it with him. And then there was a big moment also in my first administration when I took out Soleimani. And a lot of people think that might have been the biggest thing of all because he was a mad genius. He was a vicious, horrible human being, but he was a great general and a great leader, if you define a leader in a certain way, very, very powerful leader. In fact, he was so powerful that I really think that the leadership of Iran was extremely happy when I took him out, but they don't say that, but nobody's going to be asking him anymore because they're not here either. But getting the termination and terminating the Iran nuclear deal that was done by Biden and Obama, I would say mostly Obama. Actually, I don't think Biden knew where he was then, too. He had no idea. If you said to him, the Iran nuclear, what's that? But there was 4 years of hell we had with this guy as our leader, I'll tell you. And then we hit him with the B-2 bomber, so we did it twice. But if they would have had a nuclear weapon, it would have been a whole big deal. And I wouldn't be here right now, and probably you guys wouldn't be too happy. You might be in an area, who knows where you would have been. But we did it twice. And I really believe we saved the Middle East. We saved not just Israel, we saved the Middle East. And it was proven by all those rockets that fired down upon you. Saudi Arabia got hit a lot. You all got hit, and nobody expected any missiles to be wasted. You would have thought they were only going at Israel. They weren't. As President of the United States, I would never allow the world's #1 state sponsor of terror to obtain a nuclear weapon. I said that for a long time. And I didn't. To defend America and our allies over the past 27 days, the U.S. Armed Forces, most powerful in the world, have been annihilating Iran's military capacity with force, precision, skill like the world has never seen. It was violence, actually, really violence. We're crushing Iran's. Currently, as we speak, I just looked, we had another big day. We hit them. They don't know what's happening. Remember this. They lied about 3 days ago. I said, yeah, we're negotiating with Israel. We are not negotiating. They're being hit so hard, anybody would be negotiating. They are negotiating. They're begging to make a deal. They're begging to make a deal. Turned out I was right. They were negotiating, which they admitted 2 days later. And in order to make up for their misstatement, they said, we're going to send you 8 ships of oil. And the following day I saw, this is 2 days ago, I saw on one of the networks, very strange, there were 8 ships of oil coming out of Iran. And then they actually said, we're going to add an extra 2. And they added an extra 2, so we had 10 ships. And then people realized we were actually negotiating. And we're negotiating now, and it'd be great if we could do something, but they have to open it up. They have to open up the Strait of Hormuz. Excuse me for this. I'm so sorry. Such a terrible mistake. The fake news will say, he accidentally said, no. There's no accidents with me, not too many. If there were, we'd have a major story. No, well, we had that with the Gulf of Mexico. Remember the Gulf of Mexico? And one day I said, why is it the Gulf of Mexico? We have 92% of the area around it. They have 8%, really less than 8%. But for 350 years, it was good. You know, they were there 100 years longer than us. Mexico They're at 350, we're at 250. And I said, I've often asked myself, why do we call it the Gulf of Mexico? It seems like we dominate. Well, when I checked, it was more than 92%. So I announced, I wouldn't say Mexico was thrilled, but I announced that from now on, the Gulf of Mexico is going to be called the Gulf of America. And it took about 1 hour, and it was done. Everybody, I mean, the president called me. She's really a nice person, too. I like her a lot. She called up. She had the most beautiful voice. She's a very elegant woman, has a beautiful, beautiful voice. She goes, President, tell me, this is not so. No, it's so. Oh, it's so. And then Google Maps changed it. We won the court case in about 1 hour, and Google Maps changed the name. And it's now the Gulf of America, which it should be, in all fairness. We're crushing Iran's weapons stockpiles, destroying their missiles and drone factories at levels nobody ever thought was possible, and turning their defense industrial base into nothing. Iran's navy is gone. It's all sunk at the bottom of the Gulf and elsewhere. Did you see the attack submarine that we have one after one of their boats? It was called the Soleimani. It was the pride of their fleet. But this attack submarine goes like 60 miles an hour. I never saw anything. And it caught them in about 2 minutes. And that was the end of the Soleimani. Now, then they're 100% dead. They have 22 mine droppers. They call them mine droppers. And the mine droppers, 22, all 22 are gone. So I guess they can drop mines, but they're going to have to take them out by a rowboat because they don't have any boats. Their Air Force is dead, totally, completely dead. It's out of business. No planes left at all. Their anti-aircraft and communications capabilities are totally dismantled and dead. And their leaders are all dead. Other than that, I think they're doing quite well. No, their leaders are dead. Their supreme leader is no longer supreme. He's dead. The son is either dead or in very bad shape because nobody's heard from him. I think he says, just keep me out of this. This is the only country where nobody wants to lead. There's nobody. Who would like to lead Iran? Please raise your hand, a big audience of distinguished. Who would like to be our leader? Dead silence. Nobody wants to lead. Now, we have an amazing military. We have the greatest intelligence apparatus that anybody's ever seen. We can tell you everything that's going on. We know everything that's going on. We're achieving each and every one of the military objectives 4 weeks ago. And we're doing it with really, I guess, with 2 weeks. We call it a military operation. We don't call it a war. We call it a military operation. We're very disappointed, by the way, with NATO. They didn't come to our aid. I didn't try too hard, actually, because I wanted to prove a point. I didn't sell. They probably think I'm a lousy salesman. I said, would you like to help us? To President of France, Macron, nice guy. He is a nice guy. I said, I don't want him when the war's over. I want him before we start. And UK, our longest ally, nobody ever thought this was possible. I said to the Prime Minister, I said, Mr. Prime Minister, we'd like you to have 2 aircraft carriers. They're little ones. They're not very good. I know they don't go fast, and I know they don't work very well, but we could probably use them maybe for helicopters. And they said, yes, oh, yes, we are preparing them. I see, when will they be ready? Maybe in a month or 2. Oh, great, that's wonderful. I said, are you going to help us? Yes, we're going to help you. When the war is finished, we will be there. This is NATO. And I've always said NATO's a paper tiger. And I've always said we help NATO, but they'll never help us. And if the big one ever happened, and I don't think it will, but if the big one ever happened, I guarantee you they wouldn't be there. And we learned from that. And remember what I said, because they made a big mistake. They were not there. The Chancellor of Germany, these are all friends of mine, Friedrich, the Chancellor of Germany, he said, this is not our war. We have nothing to do. Well, Ukraine's not our war, but we help them. I wouldn't have had to help. If I were president, that war would have never happened. But we had a man of a very low IQ as president, and he had no idea what the hell he was. I was listening to him talk. I said, he's forcing an issue that's going to be trouble, and it turned out to be trouble. Last week, 28,000 soldiers died. The week before that, 32,000 soldiers died. I think we're going to get it settled, but it's a terrible thing. Worse since World War II. I settled 8 wars, and this should have been one of the easier ones, but the hatred between President Putin and President Zelensky is extreme. Never good. Hatred's a bad thing when you're trying to settle a war. I want to thank the entire kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Been very helpful, unlike NATO. Saudi Arabia fought, Qatar fought, UAE fought, Bahrain fought, and Kuwait fought, even though they shot down 3 of our planes with the finest missiles. We could have done without that. They didn't know they were our planes. They wasted 3 great Patriot missiles, and you have to say there's nothing like these Patriots. You know, we had an attack of 101 a few days ago. 101 missiles shot at a very valuable thing that we had floating on the water, namely an aircraft carrier, biggest in the world. And they were shot, 101, going 2,500 miles an hour. And out of the 101 missiles shot, 101 missiles were shot down and spread out all over the sea. Pretty amazing. That's called incredible technology, right, Steve? That's called great technology. Think of it, 101 missiles going 2,500 miles an hour. You don't have a lot of time. And these aren't necessarily weightlifting shoulders. These are very smart people doing that. And I watched them. I watched their performance. Missiles launched. It's almost like they're bored by it. They have like 9 seconds ahead of FIFA, the most powerful man in sports. Johnny, you never choked, right? These guys can't choke, but they're very smart. High IQs. We need high IQs. We have too many low IQ people. But what happened is, you have to see it. It's very cool. Missiles launched, missiles launched, missiles launching. They're launching. Okay, we're ready. 101 missiles coming at them. All right, we have to have like 11 seconds to make a determination. Then at 7 seconds, fire, fire, fire. It's the most unbelievable thing. Fire, boom, fire, boom. One at a time, just knocked them out like they were nothing. Genius. It's like unbelievable. I mean, to think and we have the technology nobody has. Look at what happened in Venezuela. They had other equipment, not ours. They made the mistake of using other equipment. Didn't work too well. And Venezuela was, took 45 minutes. It was a 45-minute war. This one's bigger. This one's bigger. It's a bigger country, a lot more powerful. It's a lot more powerful, but it's not powerful anymore. Within 2 days, I think the damage was done, but now it's really done. Now we're just going after targets, and they have no anti-aircraft, so we're just floating over the top looking for whatever we want, and we're hitting it, and we have another 3,554 targets left. And that'll be done pretty quickly. And then, at some point, we're going to have to determine what we do. But they've never seen anything like it. When we hit Venezuela, that's a very strong military country. They have soldiers. If you've ever been there, I've been there. They have a lot of soldiers walking around all over the place. Everyone's a soldier. Very military kind of a place. And there was a general, professional general, really good. And he said, we were all set for him. We knew there was a problem when we noticed at 1 o'clock in the morning, every 32 seconds, another airplane, a very fast plane, was coming off the deck of an aircraft carrier. That's actually the biggest aircraft carrier in the world. And every 32 seconds, boom, boom, boom. And it was 1 o'clock in the morning. So we said, okay, I think we're in trouble. But they were ready for us, Johnny. And we were ready. He said, we were ready. And then they hit us, and they came from 17 different angles. They were here, they were there. We ran for our lives. It was over. And it was over. And then we took this guy who was a very bad guy, and within literally minutes, he was in the back of a helicopter in a house that was in a big military base with thousands and thousands of soldiers. The house was all steel, with steel doors, steel everything. They had the small steel doors, the big storage. We were equipped for anything. Even the big one would have been opened within 30 seconds. They walked in with blow torches. And within minutes, he was out of the house, being thrown into the helicopter, sailing away, and the soldiers just looked. Bye. Enjoy your trip, sir. It was amazing. It was an amazing, but this is more amazing what's happening now, because we took a very strong country. I could see, Yasser, the problem you would have had. I mean, this was not a weak country. This was a strong country. They had over 10,000 missiles that they accumulated since October 2nd, if you think. Since the B-2s, really since the B-2s, they accumulated them in a matter of months, 6 months. But they had well over 10,000. They had rocket launchers. You know, rocket launchers are more important than the rockets, because you take a rocket launcher out, that's the end of that. People think you can take those big rockets and throw them out your window, like when you were a child with the paper airplanes. You said, it doesn't work that way. You need those launchers, and we knocked out 97% of the launchers. That's why you may be attacked, but you're not being attacked with very heavy numbers of missiles like at the beginning. But in particular, I want to thank my friend, the Crown Prince Mohammed, who is a fantastic man and a great friend of mine, and a friend of all of yours, I think. And he's a warrior. He's a warrior. He was not afraid of this country that, frankly, he should have been afraid of, because they're very powerful. I want to thank Tamim, because Tamim is, these three people have been unbelievable. Tamim, and then UAE, Mohammed. These are three great people. And they were under tremendous attack, unexpected attack. And they weren't thinking this was going to happen. Nobody was. And they turned against them and really became very powerfully aligned. And they were with us, but they weren't with us very obliquely. They were with us. But I think that I have to acknowledge for their bravery, because they were being hit pretty hard. All three of them, they were being hit pretty hard. The Emir, Mohammed, you had two Mohammeds and a Tamim, and they're friends of mine. And also I have to say that Bahrain and Kuwait, they were stand up, more so than NATO, I want to say. More so than NATO. Now, they're a little closer to the action than NATO in all fairness, but very disappointed with NATO. But I wasn't disappointed with our allies in the Middle East and others. And others. We had tremendous support from countries that were not in the general area, but they were tremendously supportive. I think Turkey was fantastic, actually fantastic, and they stayed out of things that we asked them to, and he's a great leader. He's a great leader. And Indonesia was great. We had so many great, you know, you learn who your friends are, really do. You learn who your friends are. And, but Indonesia, Turkey, and so many other countries, but the five were great. But your dear friend and my dear friend he was all man. He stood up and he wasn't scared. Maybe he was, I don't know, maybe he was, but he didn't show it. He was great, a great leader. You can be Saudi Arabia can be very proud of because he's got a lot of titles. He's the Crown Prince. He's the Prime Minister. He's the future king. He's got about 7 other titles. I said, you have more titles than any human being on earth. He's everything. And he deserves to be, because he's a winner. So I just want to thank those people. So the Middle East will be transformed, and the future of that region is I don't think it's ever looked brighter. You couldn't have, we did the Abraham Accords. I hope you're going to be getting into the Abraham Accords finally. Yeah, so will you please go back and explain? It's time now. Mohammed said, oh, yes, as soon as we do this, as soon as we do that. I said, Mohammed, we did that. Oh, yes, but we have a couple of other things. It's now time. We've now taken them out, and they are out bigly. We got to get into the Abraham Accords, and we hope all of the countries are going to be in the Abraham Accords. Now, we have some very brave countries that did it, years ago. They went in, and you know who they are, the early four, and they did a great thing in doing it, and it was great for them also economically, but it was a great thing that they did it. But I think all the Middle Eastern countries are going to be joining now. And in some cases, I would say all the Middle Eastern countries and beyond. You have people not in the Middle East that want to be members. You'll be seeing that soon. In the meantime, the conflict in Iran also makes it absolutely vital for the radical left Democrats in Congress to immediately end their dangerous shutdown of our Department of Homeland Security. They want to play games. That's all they are. These people are lunatics. They sort of remind me actually a little bit of Iran. They're deranged. They're deranged Democrats. For 42 days, they've tried